Hello and welcome to this brief tutorial on using the Git tools available to you at CHPC. This video assumes some familiarity with Git and source code management principles, but introduces the GitLab server and Git module with the expectation that you haven't used them before. I'll go over the process of creating a new project on the GitLab Community Edition server using Git on the Linux resources and connecting the two, and also briefly mention the documentation that's available on the CHPC website. I want to first show off the Git documentation on the CHPC website, which has a lot of information about using Git and the resources that are available at CHPC. So I'll go to chpc.utah.edu, click on Documentation and Software, and scroll down to the Git link. This has a lot of the commands you might want to use and different events that might occur, different problems you might run into, and it also details the resources that are available at CHPC, like the binary on Linux resources and the GitLab Community Edition server that you can use to host your repositories. You can access this at gitlab.chpc.utah.edu and set up your own projects here. Anyone with the university ID can sign in here, so I will use my university ID and campus password and click sign in. You can use the new project button to create a project and give it a name. In my case, I'm going to name it sample_repository. And a quick description if you'd like. You can also set the visibility level. Private allows only you and the people you explicitly give access to access your project, while internal projects can be accessed by anyone with a university ID but not edited, and public projects can be accessed by anyone, anywhere, but not edited without explicit permission. You can click Create Project to make your project, and once this is ready, you'll be redirected to the project page. If at any point you want to change who has access to your project, you can click the Settings button in the top right and Members. Here you can invite other people and give them different roles, and these roles have different associated permissions, and even set an expiration date. I'll navigate back to the project page here to set it up on Git. And if you want to see all of the repositories that are available to you, you can click on Explore and All. But again, I'm going to go to the project I just created, sample repository, to set it up on the cluster. I'm going to be using Git on lonepeak.chpc.utah.edu, but this should work on any recent CHPC Linux resource and most Linux distributions and Mac OS. If you're on Windows, you'll need to install the Git Bash client for Windows or another way to interact with Git. Here, by default, the Git version is out of date. It's just user bin git, and if I run the command git -- version, I am currently using 1.8. There's a more recent version with module load git that's updated every once in a while, so this is what we recommend you use. Currently it's 2.1, the version, which is a lot more recent than the 1.8 that I had previously. I'm going to create a directory for the project that I made. The name doesn't matter. I'm going to call it sample repository, and this is only one way to set up a Git repository. There's also a way to just clone it if it already exists, but this is what you might do if you already have files like this one I'm creating now and want to create a project from those files. So in this way you can run the Git Init command to initialize a Git repository, and that will create one in your current directory. As you can see here, my current directory /.git. And that is a hidden directory since it starts with a period, so you'll need to use ls-la to view it. Now I can run git commands like git status, and you can see that I have untracked files here. But before I can commit those, I have to configure my username and my email. And that's done with git config user.name and git config user.email. Once that's done, you need to add a remote repository if you're planning to use a remote, something on the internet, and by convention that is named origin. So you can just create it at the link of the project you made on GitLab. So git remote add the remote name and then the link. Now I can add all the files that I've made and commit them. And once that's ready, I can push it to origin master, the origin remote associated with the origin remote I created earlier, and the master branch, which is the default. So here I can enter in my credentials. In this case, it's just my university ID and password, but you can set up SSH keys if you want to have a single password or a single field to enter when you want to push or pull changes. And when I refresh this page, if all went well, you can see my files and my commit message, and I can click this and verify that it is indeed the file I created earlier. If I had a project like this that I wanted to copy over to CHPC resources, or any other resource for that matter, I could do so with the Git Clone Command, which will automatically set the remote repository and that sort of thing to make configuration easier. So the syntax for this is just git clone and then the link, which again is just the link to the project page on GitLab. And you can rename that as the next argument to this command. So since I already have a directory named sample_repository, I will rename it here. And since it's private, I have to enter in my credentials to download it. But now I have a directory named you can rename repositories here, which is what I chose, and my files are inside of it. And it did set it up by convention with the origin remote, as you can see here, and that's why we made it origin when we used the initialization method. And it should be configured and ready to go now, and I should be able to use git add, git commit, and git push commands. There are a lot more commands and a quick reference on the documentation page on the CHPC website, and also notes about other online remote repository providers and some sample cases for why you might use Git and how, and what to do if you run into problems. So I really recommend this resource. It's great for getting started and setting up your project. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, you can email us at issues@chpc.utah.edu or stop by our offices in INSCC 405. Thanks for watching.